Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is 6-3 Notes, Conversions, Fraction to Radical, and Radical to Fraction. Your objective, you'll be able to convert an exponent with a fraction into a radical expression. And you're going to convert a radical expression into an exponent with a fraction in it. So you'll be practicing going back and forth. So let's break this down to make things a little bit more understandable. To convert an exponential form expression to a radical expression, you need to take the denominator, the little denominator here in this fraction. Gotta take this blue 5 and write it on the bench of this fraction. So it's going to turn out to go right here. It's going to go right onto the bench. So whatever's in the denominator goes on the bench, on the radical. Whatever's in the numerator, in this case, the red 4, it's going to go into the power on the inside of the radical. So that numerator goes into the power of the inside of that radical on that same base. So if it's x, the base is x. So let's practice a couple problems together so we have a further understanding of this concept. So, directions. Please convert the following expression to radical form. So we have x to the power of 10 divided by 23. So, just like we were saying before, whatever's in the denominator of this little fraction, 10 divided by 23, the denominator is what goes on the little bench. Then your base of x goes on the inside, and then the numerator stays attached to that x. So you have the 23rd radical of x to the 10th. So in this case, our answer is A. Let's look at another one. Same directions, please convert the following expression to radical form. So we have x to the 39 divided by 5. Well, that means we have to put a 5 on the bench, because the 5 is in the denominator. And then x to the 39. I'll go right there. So our final answer is B. Let's try another one. We have x to the power of 8 divided by 33. So when we convert it, the denominator is what goes on the little bench. And we have x to the 8th. The numerator goes on the inside. So in this case, the answer is D. Looking at this one, please convert the following expression to radical form. So the denominator, there's a 16 in the denominator. And 28 is the numerator, so it's x to the 28 on the inside. So our answer is C. $25 is in our denominator, that's why I put it on the bench. And x to the 47th goes on the inside. So the answer in this one is A. Alright, hopefully that was enough examples of that style. Let's move on. Now our goal is to do the reverse. Go from radical form to exponential form. All you have to do is the reverse. So the number on the bench is the denominator of the fraction, and the number on the inside of the radical is the numerator. So if we have the 5th radical of x to the 4th, we write x to the 4th, what's on our inside, and then what's on the bench goes in the denominator. So you're going to take that number on the inside, put it in the numerator, and then divide it by the number in the bench. So x to the 4/5 power. Let's do a couple together. The directions say, convert the following radical expression into a variable to the power in fraction form. So we have the 7th root of x to the 19th, so it'll be x to the 19, and then divide by 7 in that power. So it'll be 19 over 7 in the power, so our answer is B. Let's look at this one. We have x to the 5th, and then divide by, well, there's a 30 on the bottom. So it'll be x to the 5 over 30. Now you could always simplify the fractions if you don't see your answer. 5 over 30 simplifies down to 1/6. So if you also see x to the 1/6, technically x to the 1/6 is reduced, so it's a better answer to choose. And that's a little bit more correct. They're both technically correct answers, except if they ask you to simplify, which they don't in these directions. In this case, we have x to the 20 divided by the number on the bench, which is 42. So the fraction is 20 over 42, which is A. And yes, this does simplify a little bit further. These are both divisible by 2, so it's going to be 10 over 21, and x to the power of that in the simplified version. Let's do another 2. So you have 17 as the radical, x to the 34. So we do x to the 34 divided by 17. And 34 divided by 17, now we see. Since 44 is on the bench, put a 44 right there. Alrighty, classwork and homework. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me. I'll be happy to work with you. If you want to come next drop, I'll be happy to work with you there too. Alright, have yourself a good night.